The Golden State Warriors are expected to discuss a potential Jonathan Kuminga trade with the New Orleans Pelicans, per Clutch Point's Brett Siegel. A part of that reason would be the Warriors' reported interest in 3 and D Wings Herb Jones and Trey Murphy 3. Along with the Pacers, another team the Warriors will likely talk with about Kuminga is the New Orleans Pelicans, Siegel reported on November 28. Both Herb Jones and Trey Murphy 3 are players the Warriors have great interest in, and they are the type of versatile wings the Dubs would want in a deal involving Kuminga. Both Murphy and Jones could be available for the right price, with the Pelicans being open for business before the February trade deadline, per an anonymous NBA scout. Kuminga's next home. Kuminga, who becomes trade-eligible on January 15th, is widely expected to find a new home before the February 5th trade deadline. The Congolese forward has lost his starting role with the Warriors, and his playing time off the bench has also gradually decreased. After averaging 30.8 minutes through his first 6 contests, Kuminga clocked 24.2 minutes from 8 games through November. As such, it's the NBA's worst-kept secret that the Warriors will shop Kuminga the second he becomes eligible to be traded. Siegel's report listed the Phoenix Suns, Sacramento Kings, Chicago Bulls, and Indiana Pacers as other teams with interest in Kuminga. While the Suns and Kings made sign-and-trade offers to the Warriors for Kuminga last offseason, the Bulls reportedly discussed pursuing the forward but didn't make any concrete offers. It is unknown if they still hold interest in acquiring the athletic wing, per Siegel. As far as suitors for Kuminga go, the regulars are still relevant. Interest from the Phoenix Suns and Sacramento Kings will exist prior to the trade deadline, much like this past summer. It is unknown if the Chicago Bulls, who previously entertained the idea of pursuing Kuminga, will be interested this time around. Back from injury, Kuminga returned to the Warriors for Saturday's game against the Pelicans after missing 6 games with a knee issue. The 23-year-old made an immediate impact, hitting 2 huge threes in the fourth quarter in his team's 104-96 win. Warriors head coach felt Kuminga was a little rusty in his comeback, but made useful contributions off the bench. Thought he looked good, Kerr said of Kuminga. Obviously, he hit 2 big threes for us in the second half. His wind and his burst will come back. He's a little rusty, but I thought he looked good for his first game back. Kuminga signed a 2-year $48.5 million deal with the Warriors last offseason as a restricted free agent. Since his contract has a team option in 2026-27, many teams view him as one of the best trade chips in the league, per insider Mark Stein. The Golden State Warriors entered the season with hope, but 22 games in, the reality is murkier. Key injuries, offensive regression, and inconsistent rotations have rewritten expectations. Their 11-11 mark doesn't just reflect bad luck, it shows a team struggling to reconnect to what once made them elite. Amid that uncertainty, Jed Pagaduan of Clutch Points proposed a radical trade scenario involving Anthony Davis. In his story, Golden State trades a heavy package, including Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Buddy Hield, Gue Santos, and multiple future picks for Davis. The idea is bold. It trades youth and flexibility for immediate star power. What Davis would bring to the Warriors. Davis remains one of the rare big men who can legitimately alter both ends of the floor when healthy. Rim protection, paint scoring, pick-and-roll coverages. He checks every box. For a Warriors offense that ranks among the highest in three-point attempts but dead last in paint points, someone like Davis could give shooters cleaner looks and take pressure off jump shots. He's far more than a traditional rim runner. He can square up, rise over you from the mid-range, or bully the wrong matchup into submission. Place that skill set beside Stephen Curry, and defenders start feeling pulled in opposite directions. The floor opens. The reads get cleaner. The half-court offense breathes again, instead of living possession to possession. Why the trade package doesn't fit reality. The complication with any Davis idea starts in Dallas, not Golden State. This is the franchise that traded Luka Doncic to get him, the single most shocking and scrutinized trade in modern NBA history. That move was tied heavily to former GM Nico Harrison, the loudest internal voice pushing for Davis and the architect of the gamble. With Harrison now gone, There have been murmurs around the league that Dallas could eventually reassess its direction. A new front office might not view Davis with the same attachment. They didn't make the trade. They didn't stake their reputations on it. This group isn't tied to the original vision. But even with that door cracked open, it's hard to gauge what Davis's market actually is. His value swings with his availability. Some nights, he looks like a franchise-altering force. Other nights, he's sidelined, navigating another strain, sprain, or flare-up. Teams around the league get that. And if Dallas ever listened, there would be no shortage of offers from franchises holding more assets, more youth, or more future flexibility than Golden State. What the Warriors would be giving up. Which brings the Warriors back to their own dilemma. What exactly would they be giving up? Moving Green is not just a roster change, it's a seismic shift in identity. His scoring has dipped, but his defensive impact remains elite. He's still one of the smartest defenders alive, still unlocks switching schemes few teams can mimic, still amplifies Curry's greatness as his pick-and-roll partner. For championships aren't built on vibes, but their chemistry is close. Swapping that for Davis creates a different kind of team, higher ceiling, higher risk. A Curry-Davis, Jimmy Butler trio would be terrifying when healthy. The playoff matchups would tilt dramatically. But this isn't the 2020 version of Davis. The miles have added up. The injuries linger longer. The margin for error shrinks every season. So the question becomes less about what Davis can be and more about what Golden State is willing to sacrifice to find out. What Warriors should really be looking for. The truth is, the Warriors don't need a full reset. They need a smart tweak. Send Kuminga to a team that wants upside. Target a young wing or forward who offers spacing, defense, and athleticism. Acquire a reliable rotation big man without sacrificing core identity. Someone like Trey Murphy makes more sense than forcing a superstar fit. He keeps the timeline flexible, preserves cap health, and allows core chemistry to improve. That kind of targeted upgrade would plug holes, not blow up the house. Golden State doesn't need fireworks. They need balance. Golden State's future requires clarity, not chaos. The Davis scenario is ultimately a window into the kinds of questions the Warriors must answer, not a prediction of where they're heading. When a team sits in the middle of the standings, the league naturally starts imagining dramatic pathways forward. Some ideas push boundaries. Some stretch logic. Others simply highlight what's at stake. Golden State's task is to separate noise from necessity. If they choose to reshape the roster, it has to be done with purpose. That means weighing the upside of a player like Davis against the cost of losing the defensive heartbeat in Green. It means balancing the urgency of Curry's timeline with the realities of age, health, and long-term sustainability. It means choosing a direction that strengthens the foundation rather than shakes it loose. There are paths that elevate this group without sacrificing identity. There are moves that make the team more dynamic without betting everything on volatility. Those are the decisions that matter most. The Warriors don't need panic. They need clarity, a clear view of who they are, what they still can be, and which changes genuinely bring them closer to that version. In a season full of noise, the smartest franchises tune out the dramatic ideas and lean into the ones that build something lasting. Of all the Giannis Antetokounmpo possible trade partners, the Golden State Warriors are a bit more of a long shot to really line up on a deal with the Milwaukee Bucks. But nothing is impossible, and the idea of Giannis playing with Steph Curry is so tantalizing, prognosticators can't help but embrace this possibility anyway. ESPN laid out 5 possible destinations for Antetokounmpo in a new article on Thursday, a day after reports indicated he has begun to talk with Milwaukee's front office about his future. This is how the trade would look from Milwaukee to Golden State in the ESPN projection. Warriors get Giannis Antetokounmpo. Thanasis Antetokounmpo. Bucks get Draymond Green, Jonathan Kuminga, Buddy Hield, 2026 first-round pick, 2028 first-round pick, 2030 first-round pick if 1 through 20, 2032 first-round pick. This would be a Hail Mary trade for both teams, writes ESPN's Zach Kram. Kuminga would really be the key to this deal, in addition to the picks. If he can still develop into a star, that'd give this a chance of working out not terribly for Milwaukee. Green and Hield are there in large part for salary matching. Would Golden State give him up? That's tougher to say. The Bucks would potentially try to move the veterans onto a third team sooner rather than later, too. For the Warriors, a blockbuster trade would represent an attempt to break out of the funk that has plagued them this season. Cram writes. Adding Antetokounmpo would be a supercharged version of last season's trade for Jimmy Butler and create a championship-caliber core, potentially with enough depth behind that star trio to scare the Thunder and the West's best teams. Just for the Giannis and Steph combination possibility, this is fun to think about.